Nice to see you. This is the second lesson of our lines in geometry and art. Remember the array we made the other day? I've added to the array. I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces across the top and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces across the bottom. Can you figure out how many spaces I have here in my grid? 25. You could count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. With a blank one for your imagination. Today I would like to talk about naming the lines we drew the other day. I'd like you to think about a line as being a point that goes for a walk. Sometimes the point moves forward in one direction. Other times the point wanders. We're going to look at both kinds of lines and name them. These lines are all straight. They go in one direction. These lines are curved. They change their direction. Lines also can be in relation to the viewer. This instrument I'm using is called a viewfinder. I'm going to have us look at this group of lines here. These are straight lines lined up in a special way. These lines are horizontal. They are like the horizon where the sky meets the earth. Here is the word horizon. Lines in this position are horizontal. These lines are not horizontal. They're not lying down on the job. They're standing up straight and tall. These lines are called vertical. Some lines are neither laying down on the job like the horizontal lines, nor standing up straight and tall like the vertical lines. They're kind of slanted. These lines are called diagonal. And then there are those lines that just go in circles. Those lines are called concentric. We have other names for lines that have to do with their relationships with each other. For instance, this group of lines, each one of them is parallel to the other. That means this line and this line will never change direction and come together or go apart. They will always stay the same distance. And remember, lines go on forever. Some lines do something different. They run into each other in a very particular way. They have formed a right angle. These kinds of lines are called perpendicular. We called these lines diagonal before. Another name for them is oblique. These words, oblique, perpendicular, and parallel, also are used in our study of the earth, geography. Here is a globe. We see all kinds of imaginary lines on this globe. Here we have concentric lines, These lines form circles. And since these lines never get any closer or further away from each other, but always stay the same distance, we call these lines parallel. We also have a line where the sun rays strike the earth directly at its equator. The lines that come from the sun and strike the earth here are called perpendicular lines. They are the hottest rays on the earth. But way up here at the North Pole and the South Pole, the light from the sun, the rays come in an oblique way. So lines are also part of our study of geography. There are many words used to describe lines in art. For instance, lines can be thick or thin. Lines can be smooth or jagged. Lines can even play tricks with your eyes. Can you see this line there? It looks like our point has started hopping. Your eye follows this line. It's not actually there, so we call it an implied line. It's a line your imagination supplies. There are even more words to describe lines in art. Now let's play a game. I'm going to ask Jeff to tell me which one he wants me to stop at.
There.
This? Mm-hmm. I'm going to use my viewfinder, and now let's describe the lines we see here. Are they straight or curved? The lines are straight. Are they horizontal? Well, this line here that forms the center is a horizontal line. Are any lines vertical? This side is a vertical line. How about diagonal? Yes. The lines that go from this vertice to that create a diagonal line. No concentric lines. Do we see any lines that are parallel to each other? Well, it appears that this line and this line are parallel. And this line and this line are parallel. How about perpendicular? Well, yes, this line and this line come together to be perpendicular. Now let's look at some of our other terms. There are no implied lines. They're all there. Most of them are thick. And they are not they're not jagged. They're quite even and smooth. Now that you have learned the names that you can apply to your lines, why don't you go draw and name some? Thank you.